Okay, once again, good morning, folks, wherever you may be listening to us right here on New Era TT Radio. Above and beyond, this is where we introduce our Buddhists on the New Era TT. This is where we say good morning to Mr. Kwesi. Good morning to you.
Good morning, CJ.
How are you, sir?
Well, yeah, I'm good. There are a number of things I want to say before we officially begin. One of which is that you sound very much like your daddy, and you're doing a great job, just like your daddy is doing.
I appreciate it.
I have you started off the day with a correct pronunciation, and then it went to KC, which is not correct, and then it went to Kwesi, which is even more not correct. So just to clarify that it is normally called and accepted as Kasi, K-A-S-I, Kasi.
Kasi.
Yeah, and when you were saying Kasi, it sounded very much like how your daddy would say it, you know?
Kasi.
Yeah, so that's what it is, Kasi, Senghor. And this morning we are I'm expecting Graham Rosta, who is the head of the steering committee of what we call, don't get alarmed by the length of the name, Bodhi Sharia TT, which is the Buddhist group, Trinidad and Tobago. The group was founded by what we call a Rinpoche. This is a reincarnated person in the Buddhist tradition. His name is Ringu Tulku, and he is a Rinpoche. And our what words are healing, helping, and harmony. Maybe one of these days I will be able to get the insignia up on the screen. In the time being, you will have to accept what turns up on the screen. Somehow this morning, my video is stabilized. It is the first time that it has been video for this long. I don't know what that is a sign of, but normally it doesn't stay. So if during the course of the morning's program it disappears, that is what I am accustomed to.
No problem.
But for now, I am happy that I am visible, and I hope that other people might be curious to see, well, who is this man that CJ has been calling a Buddhist? Well, well, let me say that is the first time that I'm being called that for a long time. You know. But that's okay, because I do practice Buddhism, and the way to put that is that I follow path of the Buddha. And over the many years that I've been doing that, I have found great satisfaction in studying what it is all about and cross-referencing it with other religions, and in particular with practicing it. So that takes us practitioners above and beyond, to use your terms. The practice takes us above and beyond the intellectual, where there can be many opinions, arguments, and so on. What I have found is that through the study of Buddhism, that is very difficult, nigh impossible, to argue with what the Buddha has taught, because so many years ago, 2,600 years I believe, he taught this so that there was suffering in his time, just as there is suffering in our time. And your last discussion about guns and firearms and all of that attests to the fact that we are all still suffering. And this time we are suffering from a lot of violence. Let me break away from that to say good morning to Graham. Hi Graham, welcome to the platform. I stated earlier, Graham, that you are the head of the steering committee of the Bodhicharya TT, which is to say the organization called the Bodhicharya. I do believe Bodhicharya we can teacher. And this is the TT leg of it, so to speak. It's international, founded by Rinpoche Rinpoche. And we have a group here at TT. We also have what is called Bodhicharya Caribbean. And the other island is Antigua, where we have Bodhicharya also. There are Bodhicharya Antigua, so to speak. And we have met over the years. As a matter of fact, it is in Antigua that I first met Rinpoche Rinpoche. And last year was in Trinidad and held a wonderful lecture at UWI. And he was also interviewed here on, no, it would not have been here, it would have been on the 102 last year. And he continues to guide us and in terms of both study and practice. We also have two teachers. One, Unzang, she comes from another Rinpoche, Senghor. Some people may know that name, very popular, Senghor Rinpoche. And our other teacher, again another female, her name is Sering Palmer, and she comes from Rinpoche Rinpoche's camp, so to speak. So let me say thank you very much, Graham, for coming on. And I want to invite you now to introduce yourself and to proceed with whatever what we call Dharma, which is like the scripture. We have Dharma talks, whatever Dharma you may have for us today. This is your first time here. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation to come on as parent committee, and may we all benefit from whatever is said and done here this morning. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Cassie. Can you hear me okay?
I'm hearing you very well.
Perfect. Well, good morning to you, and good morning, Sir Charles, and good morning, CJ. We are going up to 11:45, all right?
Yeah. Thereabouts.
All right. Well, then I will make things brief. Good morning, everyone. My name is Graham Rasta, and I'm affiliated with the Buddhist group here in Trinidad that Cassie will have spoken every week on some extent. It's not a large group, it's a fairly small group. We are committed practitioners, and we are grateful to have an opportunity to speak to the general public via channels like this one. So my appreciation to Sir Charles for providing us with the opportunity. It's been Cassie up until now, but I think we're going to be varying things a little bit going forward. I hope so. That perhaps we relieve some of the pressure on Cassie by having some of the other members of the group speak on occasion like I'm doing this morning. What I want to talk about today are some concepts that I think would be useful for everyone. Inviting you to listen and to see whether these things have any meaning or value in your life, and whether you can put them into practice. They should, because although we call it Buddhist concept, the fact is that these aren't really Buddhist concepts per se. Buddhist.
Let me just interrupt you a bit there. Could you get a little closer to the mic?
Sure. You're not hearing me properly. I can shove my face up.
Yeah. You could be louder. That's what I'm suggesting.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'll do my best.
You are doing your best. You're clearer now.
Very good. Well, my face is right up in the screen, which is why.
Where it should be.
Where it should be. All right. So the things that I want to talk about today, while they have been outlined and expounded on at length by Buddhist practitioners over hundreds of years, thousands, they're not Buddhist practices per se. Frankly, the Buddhists simply recognize that these are truths that govern our lives, and we need to understand them and work with them. The fact is, all of us intrinsically want the same thing. We all want to be happy. We want to be free from suffering. We want our loved ones to be happy and free from suffering as well. It's a universal desire. In fact, it's what being human is all about. It applies to all living beings, not just human beings. All the animals are the same. It's a basic truth, and if you think about it a while, I think it's pretty obvious. And because of that, whatever your background is, your religion, your ideas, your opinions, your life history, that's just a tapestry to your life. We all have the same fundamental wishes and desires, no matter what labels have been put on us, even if we express them differently. So I'm going to talk for the next half hour about a Buddhist concept called the paramitas. There are 6 of them, and I'm not going to go through all 6 because that would take a long time. Over the next half hour, I'm going to introduce the first 2 of them. And then I'm going to invite everyone to look at how they might relate to their own lives, and to ask yourself whether a little more active effort to nurture these paramitas might benefit you. If you leave the conversation feeling that these things that we're talking about might be helpful, then our session here will have been worthwhile, if you make a little effort to bring them into your life. So I encourage you at all times, treat this like an experiment. Don't accept what I say or what anyone says. Don't accept it intellectually and then forget about it. Rather, the idea here is to listen to it, and if you think it makes sense, put it into practice and then see if it works for you. Try it without any reservations or hang-ups. Just try it. You have nothing to lose, really. If it doesn't make a difference, nothing's happened. But if it does, then there is a potential to change your life in a way that can be truly wonderful. So I hope you consider this. So, the parameters. And before we get going, I apologize in advance if Cassie has covered this subject already in an earlier conversation. I know he's been doing this for several months, and it's quite possible that he's talked about the parameters already. If he has, then maybe I can offer a different perspective that helps clarify things and encourages you to redouble your efforts at putting them into your own training. So, the parameters in what we call Mahayana Buddhism, the parameters or perfections, they are a set of virtues that bodhisattvas practice on their path to enlightenment. Now, let me explain two terms in that sentence I just went by. Mahayana Buddhism is a type of practice dating right back to the Buddha's day, the Buddha himself, in which the trainee works towards enlightenment, not just for his or her own benefit, but for the benefit of all beings. So a bodhisattva works on his or her own mind so that they can be more able to help other people. So that's the meaning of the term bodhisattva. That's the meaning of the term Mahayana Buddhism. To return to the parameters, the word itself is a Sanskrit word that is commonly translated as perfection. And the most popular translation of parameter is the perfection of the crossing over to the other shore, which sounds like a fanciful term, but let me give you a sense of what we're trying to get at there. To give you an example, from this shore of suffering, we cross over to the other shore, which is the shore of well-being. From this shore of anger, let us say, we cross over to the shore of non-anger. From this shore of jealousy, we cross over to non-jealousy. So these are things that we can use to get from here to there, to get from the unskillful action to the skillful action. So in fact, they are tools, if you like, and in a sense, you can think of them as a raft to get you over the water from this shore to that shore. And then when we reach the other shore, we're there, we're at our destination, so we can lay it down and go ahead. So that's the meaning of the word parameters. As I said, there are 6 of them. The first one is generosity, called dana. The second is morality, called sila. Then there come patience, vigor, meditation, and wisdom. So those are all 6, and the first 2, dana and sila, are the ones I'm going to be talking about over the next few minutes. And within those 2 is really the whole of Buddhist training itself. So just by describing those 2 to you, I think you will really get a strong sense of the whole thing. If you know how to do it, if you know how to use these rafts, if you like, these parameters, you can cross over to that other shore very quickly. It's simply a matter of training and a matter of practice. It's best if you can do it with a community of other people trying to do the same thing, which is what we in our group do. That's called the Sangha. Here in Trinidad, not such a large Sangha, but we have another group in Antigua, as Cassie just said, and we have groups around the world. It's not a big following, but it is substantial, and we all help each other. The parameters themselves are considered essential qualities to cultivate on the path to enlightenment. And that means, from a Buddhist perspective, that we deliberately engage these things and practice in them to try and assist our training. They act as a roadmap, if you like, for a meaningful and purposeful life. So we practitioners, we try and develop these virtues by consciously integrating them through formal practice and through our day-to-day activities. And as our practice grows, and as we get better at this thing, these parameters start to become our natural state of being. So we don't have to consciously act from that place. They are now part and parcel of our character, part of our makeup, and they manifest naturally. So that's why I say you think when you've crossed from this shore to that shore using the parameters, you can sort of drop them on the far shore and then continue on, because now they are integrated with our natural state of being. You don't have to be perfect to practice these things. In fact, none of us are perfect, and we all need the practice. Each parameter is, if you like, it's an antidote to a particular obstacle. For example, the first parameter of dana, that's generosity, that helps you overcome stinginess, for example, just to choose an example. So you practice them now as part of the path, and they help you overcome the obstacles that you have been experiencing in your own life. So let's talk about these two. As I said, by themselves, they can transform your life. Even the first one alone, dana, can transform your life. So I hope you find this of some value. Dana itself, generosity, I said, it's a Sanskrit word. It's the practice of selfless giving, if you like, generosity, without the expectation of anything in return. And that second part is important, because when you do giving and you expect something in return, that is an ego-driven activity. And what we are trying to do is cut our ties to the ego, not strengthen them. So that's why we call it the practice of selfless giving. It involves offering material support, money, time, energy, or any other resources for the benefit of others. And it also includes offering our loving kindness, our compassion, and our wisdom to others. Anything we can do to remove the suffering of others, that is dana. So as beginners, we have to start gradually, and then we proceed step by step. We need to consciously practice dana because in the very beginning we need to open ourselves up. Presently, most of us are focused so strongly on our desires and our needs that we find it hard to give. It's not easy. We find it hard to be open to others. Our whole lives we've lived protecting what's ours and holding it closely. So it's not easy when you first start. It does not come naturally. So in the very beginning, we develop dana by being more big-hearted and being more concerned about others deliberately. And as a first step, we need to overcome possessiveness, if you like, and a strong attachment to worldly things and to grabbing onto them for ourselves. So first and foremost, we have to get rid of that attachment to ourselves and the things that we have. And thereby we become spacious, we become open-hearted, we become big people. You know, when you hear someone say that someone else they know has a big heart, if you know that expression, it usually means that that person is generous. And it's a wonderful term to use, big heart, because opening and expanding our heart is a gradual process. We don't get there immediately, But that is how we become generous. Our heart towards others becomes big. While we develop generosity, we have to always respect that our own capabilities, we're not so strong with this in the beginning. So we do what we're comfortable with doing, we give what we're capable of giving, and we don't do any more than that. We work from, if you like, we work from where we are, and then the more we put in this effort, is the more we find that our capacity, our capability develops. But we have to work at it. It does not come easy, and it does not mean staying comfortable by doing nothing, because that's not training, is it? Training in the parameter of dana means making a commitment to ourselves every single day to actively engage with this practice for the whole of that day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and the next day. But at the starting point, we need to work out individually how to approach it. But once we've done that, and it's not very difficult to do, we then need to take it up and do it, because that is our practice. And we need to give it our best effort, and we need to do it every day. If we remain concerned only about ourselves and our belongings, we become isolated. And it's a human condition. All of us have become isolated to one extent or another. And if you don't think that's true, well, I'm afraid it is true for all of us to one extent or another. And it's only when you stop and look that you start to see. And practicing the parameter of dana is a great way to stop and look. Because it's only by doing acts of generosity that you come to understand that sometimes they're very uncomfortable. They're not easy to do, because we're not naturally completely generous people. There's always this bit of ego clinging and holding on to what we have and what is ours. And to the extent that we harden ourselves like that against everything else, our world becomes more cold, more miserable, more lonely. So when you start to open up, you find that the color of your world, if you like, changes almost immediately, which makes it a wonderful practice to do. Ideally, we shouldn't be hoping for any reward. That's a big mistake. As I said a little while ago, if you are expecting a reward coming out of this practice of being generous, then it becomes an ego-driven practice. And we are trying to cut our ties to ego, not strengthen them. So hoping for a reward is a danger, and you need to be very aware of it. It's something to avoid. But that aside, the main thing is to start opening it up. Once you start to open up, the process is limitless, and eventually our attitudes, eventually our actions will become generosity itself. If you can think about any people you know in your lives who you have a profound respect for, look at what it is about their character that makes you so respectful of them. And often you will find that their own innate generosity is there. The bigness of heart that I spoke about. They have achieved a level of opening up, if you like, that is something that the rest of us maybe aspire to. And yes, we start from where we are at the moment. We take what we have, and then we look at what we can do, and we move forward. There's this saying from the Buddha. He says, if you knew, as I do, the power of giving, you would not let a single meal pass without sharing some of it. And that statement of his really summarizes the virtue of giving and the goodness that returns to you from giving. The Buddha taught that when we truly understand that innate power that generosity gives us, when we experience how it brings joy to the giver as well as to the receiver, then we want to give. We learn to give not only when opportunities present themselves, but we start living our life looking for these opportunities, hoping for them to arise. And then when they do, we take delight in participating and in being given the opportunity to give. So it is a wonderful thing to do, and I urge you to consider using it as a focus for practice in the coming weeks. How to start? Well, start by working out what a dana practice is for you. What does it mean to you? If any of the words that I've said here have resonated, think about your own life and about where the opportunities are and where the obstacles are. What, how, to whom? These are questions you need to put to yourself. But at the end of it, make a choice, make a decision, and then resolve to do something every day. And then try it for a couple of weeks. Maybe write things down if that works for you, but try it for a couple of weeks and see what happens. Do it and see what happens, see where it goes. And this is what training is like. And this particular paramita, dana, if you let it stay with you, it can transform the quality of your life. It really can. And you don't have to take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Buddhist concepts are ideas for you to take and to put into practice in your own life, and then see the truth for yourself. Having it as mind knowledge stuffed into your brain does nothing. It's only until it becomes a part of how you act and how you live that it becomes transformative. So try it and see what happens. What are you going to focus on? Well, it's not always about money, but it could be money. But it could also be your time, your advice, your friendship. And it doesn't have to be people that are close to you. In fact, sometimes that can complicate things. It doesn't even have to be to people, frankly. The act of giving a stray dog a nourishing meal has a real impact on both sides, on you and the dog. And we often don't see this because we've cut ourselves off from life. This practice is all about opening ourselves up, seeing the needs of others and stepping in to help with that need where we can. If you do that, you're going to find that there are many, many things that you can choose to do. And you will also find that once you start to get into it, you get a sense of how it works. And that helps you deepen the practice, and it points you to the opportunities that are really worthwhile for you and within your means. So that's where the magic is. Your mood brightens, your life seems to move to a better place. People become more responsive. The old hostilities that you have with some people start to disappear. Everything gets better. That shouldn't be the reason you do this practice. It's a reward, and I told you already, don't think of the rewards. But that is in fact what happens. The reward is undeniable. So if you take away anything from this morning's conversation, take this one thing. Try it, see how it works in your life, and if you make an effort, then it must work. But see for yourself. Okay, so the second paramita I want to talk about is...
But excuse me.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Before you move on to the second parameter, I know you speak about giving to people and pets and that kind of thing. But since I began this program here, I've been stressing on the need for us to meditate. And I've tried to use some examples of, what meditation does, and rather than redoing it allowing it to do something for us. In the case of dana practice, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but do you have examples of what the Buddha did in terms of generosity, or what his students did, or other masters along the way, or even current teachers have been or are doing along the way that point directly to what you are describing there. For instance, there are stories where misers then came to the Buddha and he gave them advice, like have 2 sets of pebbles, a black set and a white set. And whenever you give something that is good, you put the white set in one hand, put a white pebble, and where you did something that was, not generous, miserly, then you put a black pebble in the other hand. And the story goes on to say where the miser, seeing what was happening in terms of account of what pebbles went where, began to change because he wanted more of the white pebbles in hand, which would suggest that he was becoming more and more generous. So my question is, again, let me just stress, I'm not hoping to put you on the spot, but do you have any such examples with you this morning? You may not be prepared to, you may not have prepared that in your speech, but I think it's very wide. What exactly?
So without jumping into lots of specific examples, because we really don't have too much time left. The thing that you
that's all right, in the sense of that's right. In the sense of if we just do dana alone, that is not a problem.
All right.
All right.
The story you gave about the Buddha and the pebbles is a great example because the Buddha achieved his enlightenment at age 35 through his own efforts. He achieved full enlightenment at the age of 35. And rather than go off into a state of complete bliss forever, which he could have chosen to do, he, after a week of deep meditation, started to turn his mind over to where he could best serve other people. This is what I said, the Mahayana ideal of helping others, of spending your life helping others. And that was the question that occupied him. What could he do to help others the most? And that is why he then, from age 35 to age 80, he spent his life trying to teach people what he himself had discovered. That is all he did. That is what he woke up and did every single day. So that was a huge form of generosity, if you like. A wonderful form of generosity. To do that every single day, just trying to help others attain the same understanding that he had attained. And the example you used with the pebbles, exchanging the pebbles from one hand to the other, white pebbles, dark pebbles, it's an example of skillful means on the part of the Buddha. Again, he's taking a look at the miser that came to him, who said, I'm way too attached to my money. I cannot give it to anybody. How could you expect me to? The Buddha looks at who is asking the question, and he evaluates the state of understanding that is there. And then he gives a response that is perfectly targeted at that individual. Had it been somebody else with a deeper understanding, the answer, the recommendation would not have been the same. But the Buddha could see where this man was in his understanding, and he prescribed him a very simple practice that he knew would have an effect on the man. So again, just an example of what a wonderful teacher he was. And as I said, extremely generous, because when you achieve a state of full enlightenment like that, generosity becomes your true nature. You can't act any other way. It's not a matter of choosing it or not choosing it. It is a part of you. To take an example closer to home, a little while ago you were talking about the head of our order, Ringo Tulku, who you saw in Antigua, and then last year in Trinidad. A visit to the Bodhicharya website will show a whole list of activities that he himself engages in to try and help others in his community. One that particularly comes to mind is he set up a convent for Buddhist nuns to make it easier for them to train, because he recognized that being a woman nun in Tibet often brought with it a whole slew of difficulties. And he saw that he could best be of help to his own community by focusing on the women. And he sought the donations to help build the monastery, and he continues to seek to this day donations that help operate the monastery on behalf of these nuns, so they have an equal opportunity for training. So there are two examples to your question. I hope they work. Yeah?
Yeah, they work. What we are doing here, I would assume, is also an act of generosity, where we are giving our time, our knowledge of our experiences to share with others.
So there you go. The key is to figure out how you, with your own set of skills and your own set of resources and your own community and everything you've got, where you are right now, what could you do of your own accord that will be helpful to people? And once you start thinking along those lines, I think the ideas come up fairly quickly.
Okay, good. We go with that.
All right. It being 11:45, Cassie, maybe we should end it there with...
Oh, it's 11:45 already?
It is.
We do have a few more minutes, I believe. CJ, do we have any callers or anything like that? Anybody else appearing anywhere?
All right, well, we could open the phone lines. The number to call, 281-1315. Give us a call and you can interact with our panelists.
In the meanwhile, Cassie,
maybe
question you might have?
Beg your pardon?
In the meanwhile, is there any other question you might have?
Well, yeah, of course. I have many questions. One of which is contractus. To my mind, meditation is basic. So my question is, what role does meditation play in the practice of giving, of dana?
Meditation is a hugely important part to all our practices, but to dana, it allows you to see where... Meditation basically allows you to see things as they are. It allows you to set aside your ideas and opinions and just confront reality as it actually is. And in that way, the mindfulness that it brings allows you to much better understand, get a grasp of what are the things you could be doing, what are the skillful things that you could be doing to ease suffering for others, to be generous to others. Often we have so many ideas and opinions about these things that it's tough to see what the right thing to do is. Meditation allows us to calm our minds, and therefore it strengthens this practice immeasurably by giving a clarity we wouldn't have.
Sorry to cut you. We have a call on the inside. Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, well, I haven't heard the whole program, but I came in when don't want to say the wrong word. The presenter was talking about the about giving, right? And I heard my brother Cassie mention that what you all are doing is also part of that giving. To try and make it short, right? I am an elder, African elder, and I want to take this opportunity to apologize to all the youths, all the African youths, because I believe that we have failed them, and we have to try and understand in what form we have failed them so we could move forward. It is totally different from when I left school in the 70s, so what they have to face presently. So I would, if I have the time, I could come up and make suggestions as where we might have been going wrong, if I have that time. If not, then let me know, please.
Thank you.
Hello?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, let me respond to him there,
Sure.
Graham. Meditate. One of the things that meditation will certainly do is to show us our own tendencies, which may shock us, our own tendencies and habits. And in so doing, we can then let them go. But before we let them go, we have to know what they are, and we have to acknowledge their existence. And because we want to do so much for our present day youth, it's necessary for us then to look at our own sort of tendencies where we have fallen short then in our own giving, our own holding back, so to speak. Our own fears, which causes us to apply for FULs and all of that sort of stuff. And a very good question that you are asking there is, Jabari, a very good question you're asking there in terms of, like what can you do? Where have you fallen short, etc., etc. So these things are all part and parcel of Dana practice. In other words, you are giving to yourself an opportunity to make corrections. As you know, a lot of this stuff begins within us, with ourselves, and then we can extend them outwards. So thank you for calling in, Jabari, and giving us more food for thought. And I'm sure Graham will give his last words, so to speak, on Dana or anything else before we close off. And even before we close off, I want to thank CJ, which I think stands for Charles Jr.
Yes, sir.
All right, we are Charles Jr. Yeah, man. Thank you very much, CJ, for listening.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. My pause raising as I say the word listening there, because I know that you did listen, and that is an act of giving too. Active listening. Something that needs also needs practice, where we listen before we speak. So thank you very much for that. Graham, as a sentence or two to close off your part of the day.
Well, I'm appreciative for the opportunity to talk. It's, as you pointed out, it's my own way of being generous, of giving of my time. So therefore, there is a reward for me too, and it's been a rewarding morning for me. So thanks for the opportunity, CJ. Thank you. Cassie, thank you for asking me. To the caller who called in, thank you for doing that. And
Also, we have one more call on the line. You want to take it?
Yes.
sure, if there's time.
Okay, caller.
Hi.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
This is not targeted at the Buddhist community or any single community, huh?
No,
But
not at all.
sometimes when you do good, you may do good for an individual at a given time, but it's not helpful for the wider community in some ways. As an example, I mean, I don't live in Trinidad, right? I live abroad, but
We know that, Linda.
I'll just
we know
tell you
that.
as an example, right?
Yes, Linda.
Where I live, you find a lot of a significant increase in like people that you may feel threatened by because they're obviously homeless, penniless, and there's a very high incidence of people now snatching your phone on your watch, and so in my neighborhood. Now, these people, they're not from my neighborhood. They come because they go to a mosque and they go to another church in my neighborhood and they get free food. So, yes, you are satiating somebody's hunger. I appreciate that. But when you come to somebody's neighborhood to do that, and then in doing so, you encourage a regular traffic of petty thieves. I don't appreciate that at all. I'm not saying your community, yeah? I'm just saying people who do these things and thinking it's charity. Yeah, it's charity to the individual who is hungry, but it's not a kindness to the community that hosts your operation. So I think sometimes people might want to say, yeah, you're selfish because people need food or they need whatever. But personally, and I also think I speak for a lot of people, other people, who are now feeling threatened by criminals where they did not in the past. They're really not happy about inviting all of these people for a free meal in my neighborhood. So just like all the organizations that quote unquote do good, to think about that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Let me respond very, very briefly. You're absolutely right. Sometimes good intentions can lead to negative consequences. And that is where your power of discernment needs to come into play. There are unskillful actions as well as there are skillful actions, even if the motivation was good all along. So you need to apply your own discernment. Meditation often helps give you the clarity to see the problem fully. So meditation there is very useful. And yes, you don't just go throwing your efforts at everything that you see that needs fixing, because you won't succeed, first of all, and second of all, you're right, it causes unintended consequences. So you do have to think it through. You have to try and discern where the best possible actions can take place for the best possible outcomes, and then you move from that place. You act from that place. The danger is doing nothing, because that keeps you closed off and shut down. You should try and find ways to do things that are skillful. So, my last thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham, and thank you, Linda, for speaking out. This is also the first time that we have had two callers successfully coming, so this is a historic morning. Graham, you brought luck, I have to say. And so did you, CJ. You all brought luck. My video is still on. You know, we have gone past 11:45 and we had two callers, imagine that.
Don't
For
worry.
the first time, and that is excellent. May it continue to be so.
By the
And
grace,
if
by
I
the
may
grace of
end,
God,
sorry?
I said by the grace of God, it will grow and grow, and it will turn 2 into 20 and then to 200. So
Yeah, we want to move on, man, and to have more people studying and practicing. And even though these folks might be in other religions, no problem. The mind still needs to be still and calm in order to make the best decisions. Thanks again and have a great day. Thank you, Graham, for coming on. And next week I'll be on by myself as usual. And the following week I will have another presenter. And we will be rotating like that from now on. All the best to you, CJ.
okay.
Everyone.
You yourself have a blessed day, and to Mr. Graham, you and all who enjoy the rest of your day, thank you for your time.
Thanks, PJ.
And to Cassie, you have a good day as well. I hope I get it correct this time.
Right. I know you're stressing on the name here now, but that's good.
Nice. So,
all right, bye.
Okay, we say thank you very much.
Do you have the singing and the bell?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So we listen for that, Graham, before we sign off.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News now.
This is your news update for Thursday, July 17th, 2025. I am Amanda Mitchell with New Era TT Radio. Government consultations on Trinidad and Tobago's